Hi, it's Steffi from Steffi's Beads and Baubles, and I've been wanting to do this particular project for a long time. My friend Deanna sent me this beautiful reindeer, and I want to make it into a necklace. And then what I did is I added 2 jump rings to the top of the antlers. But I may be taking those off because I might have a different idea of what I want to do. We're going to see. But what I wanted to do was figure out how to make this really cute and kind of over the top, just with some beads and charms. Basically charms I made myself. So I took a little crystal butterfly, it's pink, and I added 2 small check fire polish beads, one on the top and one on the top and one on the bottom, and made this little charm. And I did the same thing with this one, except for 2 pink with the little pink butterfly. Now this one's already open, and so all I'm going to do is I'm going to hook this onto the open ring on the piece. And then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to loop that. And then that'll hang the little butterfly. Now these are not to scale, but look it. That's the butterfly that's built into the little antlers, and the antlers themselves are totally out of scale. So you don't have to worry about being in scale when you do fun projects like this, because the whole piece is fantasy. He's got a bird here that's kind of in scale, but that butterfly's big and that butterfly's big. And then there's, looks like maybe more birds. Anyway, the whole piece is out of scale for the little tiny reindeer. So just have fun with something like this, and don't worry too much. I see you got to tighten it. Don't worry too much if it's a little bit fantasy, because that's the fun part about creating a piece of jewelry, is making it fun. So once I got that on there. Now I'm going to put the other little butterfly up here, or I think it's up here on the antler, right here. So I'm going to open up the jump ring, or not the jump ring, the loop that I made, and I'm going to take it by the top, and I'm going to loop it through. There's a little hole there, and I'm going to loop it through the hole like that. And then I usually pick it up by the charm, because I find it's sometimes easier to do. And I'm just going to take the pliers and get in here and get that on there right. Then I'm going to take my pliers, and I'm just going to close that loop back up like that. And then that way this little charm will dangle too. Now this one's not as loose as the other one. I guess it's the way I did the loop. So if you don't like that, you can always loosen it up. But that's how it looks with the 2 little dangles. See, he's not dangling like he should. I don't like that. So I'll fix that later, but for now it's just not as dangly as this one. I'm not exactly sure why. If it was the loop, I might not have made the loop big enough, but that's okay. I can always redo it. Now we got the antlers, and what I was thinking of doing, so I might take these loops back off. Although, yeah, I think I will. I'll take these back off because I came up with a different idea. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open these jump rings and take them off. And what I'm going to do is I got this butterfly that I thought was really cute. And again, I can put a couple of little tiny beads on there. And I've got some real pretty green. There's a green fire polished bead and a little glass butterfly and another little fire polished green bead. And I string those on like that. Trying to get the lighting, just this room has the worst lighting ever. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop it, and I'm going to take my pliers and loop it around, get the loop where I want, and then I'm just going to cut it. A lot of times I have to manipulate this a little bit after I've looped it. This is just something you practice with until you get to where you can loop quite easily without thinking about it. And you're just going to take your looped pliers and just round it around like that until you get a little loop. And now it might not be straight right at first, but that's okay because that's what you're going to do with your pliers. And then what I want to do is see if this will fit. I might not. Then I'm going to open the ring that was on the bottom of the pin I used, because this was a looped head pin like this. See, a looped head pin. And I'm going to hook the loop going so that the closure is in the back. And we'll see if it fits. If not, I might have to stick with the jump ring. Looks like it fit. Looks like it'll be just fine. Hold on, let me tighten that down. And there it is. So that little butterfly will hold up this side of the pendant. And then I'll take this jump ring off as well. It's a heavy gauge, so I need two pliers to open it. And then for this side, I have a really cute check little purple. And I'm going to put a tiny little green on this one. No, I'll put the other purple on it. I have a choice of purple or a pink. I think the pink would be better because I think the purple will totally dissolve into it, make it look like one big purple thing. So there we go. So I'm going to put this, and underneath is a little tiny purple bead. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to roll it around, and then I just cut it where I think I'm going to need it cut. Like I said, there's no way to tell you exactly where to cut. You're just going to have to practice if you've never done this kind of thing. And I do have another video. And see, that one I cut a little too long. But I do have another video on how to do beaded charms. And that's where I show you how I do this. But basically, I'm just going to loop it around like that, so that it makes a loop. Now, it's not completely closed, but I don't really want to completely close it till I've hooked it. And I'm not going to hook it yet. I'm going to open the bottom again. You find where the back of the pieces, you can see where it comes around and goes back over. You're going to open the back. And again, I'm going to hook it from the front back so that I'm closing it in the back, and I'm just going to pull it around with my pliers till it's closed again. Alright? Now the next thing I'm going to do is I have a piece of chain, and this was an actual necklace, and what I did is I cut it not quite in half. I looked at this to see what the difference would be on each side. And I wasn't like picky precise, but I realized that one side had to be slightly longer than the other because the two sides were different. So I put a jump ring on one. Which one did I do? Okay, I think I did this one. Yeah, I put a jump ring on that one. And now I'm going to put another little tiny jump ring on this one. And that way I can hook the necklace onto that. Now it takes this is hard because you got a little tiny piece of chain, and you got to get that, and actually that's where I cut it, so I got to get that, I got to get the piece I cut. Okay, hold on, I got to get the piece I cut off. Sometimes you have to cut it a little more. Take my glasses off so I can see what I'm doing. Is that it? Okay. Now I'm going to take this tiny little jump ring. Where'd he go? Is that the right size? It's a little tiny one. Oh, here. Okay. Oh, you see that? I popped it. They're little tiny guys, so it's going to be, the little tiny ones are hard to grip. So let me get it. And I've got them in the grip of the plier. Then I recommend you always have at least a couple of these little needle nose, chain nose or needle nose pliers. They're each a little bit different. And I have a third one that has a just slightly wider nose than this one, but they're pretty close. But they come in handy, but you really do need two. Now this chain, you can see, is really tiny. So I had to use a tiny jump ring. And basically I just got to catch There, I got it. Caught it right on there. And then grab it with the other side and close it. And there it is. Now, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to hook each jump ring to one side of the necklace, like that. Alright, and then I'm going to take this side and I'm going to open it up and I'm going to hook the chain, the other side of the chain, on this one. And that's what that little jump ring is for. You could hook it directly onto the chain, but really a jump ring gives it a little bit more movement. And then that is what your necklace looks like. Let me see if I can, hold on. Something is, oh, this side's a little tight. Okay. So I'm thinking maybe the jump rings would have worked better. I don't know. But this is how the little necklace looks. This lighting is so terrible. I don't know what to do about it. But here's the little necklace. And he's got his little charms hanging down. Now I did take a butterfly off of his, that was already hanging right there. And I've got this little butterfly and charm. And what I'm thinking of doing with that piece is I wanted to hang a little, I always like to hang a little decoration by the clasp. So I thought I would take another little head pin, a loop pin, and put the butterfly on it, like this. It's a little bit thick, so it's hard to slide it on there. Okay, and then I can add a bead, and I thought this clisson bead would, I'm probably butchering that word, but it's just a little bead. I've literally had this bead for, good Lord, 20 years or something, and it's just a beautiful little bead. Just very, very, very pretty. Then I'm going to take that bead, and you don't have to do this. It's just something I like to do on my clasps. And just like I did earlier, bend it around and carefully cut off the excess wire. And be careful, because that will shoot across the room if you're not careful. Cut it. And sometimes I have to recut it a second time if I leave it too long. But I try to get a nice round. And there we go. And then what I'll do is up here on the lobster claw, the jump ring that holds the lobster claw onto the bracelet, I'm going to take this little bead. Now see, I don't like how that came out. It was too big, too long. So I'm actually going to cut a little bit off of the loop, because I think I made it too long of a loop. And then I'm going to straighten it out, because it's kind of sideways. And then I'm going to re-loop it. And what I usually do is I try to see how rounded, I don't know if you can see how rounded the edge is. I'm going to try to kind of slightly straighten that edge out so that when I roll it, it'll look good. And then I'll re-roll it, pulling it kind of back, and that made a better loop. Now I will open that up like this, and I'm going to hook that onto the jump ring that's on the clasp. So I'm just going to hook that on like that. Now we got to close it back up and then see how it hangs. It's just a little hidden, just kind of a little hidden thing that you'll only be the one that sees it, because it'll be on the back of your neck. But if you have short hair, or if you have your hair up, then people will be able to see it. Then when you hook it, it's just a little pretty decoration on the back of the earring. And I do that on almost all my clasps. Okay. See, everybody's giving me trouble. You have to, once you have it on, it'll be fine, but it's kind of stiff. It's a very thick pendant, so these loops need to be pretty rounded. And They move easily, but they get stuck easily too. But that's the little reindeer. I've been wanting to make this for a long time. I've been going through things in my studio and got things together yesterday. Decided I'd go ahead and do this little guy. I thought he was very cute. I'm pretty excited about this one. And you could make the chain, this one might be too long of a chain. So if it's too long, if you have a chain you want to use and you think it's too long, all you have to do is cut the chain where you're going to hook it onto the necklace to the length you want. Because it doesn't matter how long it is, you're going to still have to put the jump ring on it. And these are tiny jump rings. I don't know the measurement, maybe a 4mm. They're pretty small. And but yeah, the only thing about it, it's such a thick piece that these, once it's on, it'll hang beautifully, but it's just moving it around. So I'll probably hang this up and enjoy looking at it. But anyway, he was a lot of fun, and hope it gives you an idea, because they sell lots of this type of pendant that you can do 2 chains, and sometimes they will have little places you can hook on. Technically, I could have put more things through if I really wanted to. I could have hung something from several places, but I decided just to go with those 2. Anyway, so that is the little reindeer. I wanted to explain why I have not been around as much as I've been as I usually am, and why my videos have been a little scarce. And that's just because we've had a lot. I'm trying to put this guy so you can see him. I'll just hold him up. We've had a lot going on. Our son moved out. That was my daughter. I forgot to turn my ringer off, which I will do right now. But anyway, our son moved out, and he's been with us 5 or 6 years. He was just saving up and getting a better job and buying a new car and getting all his ducks in a row, and he finally did. Got his own place, but it's taking him time to get out because he didn't want to just move it all and be in a big mess. So he's been gradually moving stuff out. He's almost done with his bedroom, and when his bedroom is empty, it will become my reseller room, which will free up this room that I'm in currently to just be my studio, because right now it's stuffed full of all the stuff I have for sale. I would imagine 100 pounds of jewelry, or more, because I had jewelry before I started buying the blue boxes. I've got all kinds of glassware and stuff stuffed everywhere, packed in boxes that I want to resell on eBay and Etsy. So that'll give me a place to put up shelves to store all this stuff and to do what I need. But I've been having to work on some of the house and going through stuff and doing stuff. So I got a little behind on housework, so I took this week off to catch up laundry, do a little deep cleaning, go through some stuff, and now I should be able to slowly get back on track. I'd like to get back to having 3 videos a week. It might take me a few more weeks, but I will have the blue boxes every Friday, and I'm going to try to get a creative video up once a week, and then what other videos I have will be coming out as well. But I have a whole pile of stuff I want to record for you. I just haven't had the chance. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little guy, and I will be back very soon. I've got a couple fun projects I've got to work on. I still have that parrot, which has had me a little baffled. I'm not the least bit bothered by that. I'm just taking my time figuring it out, but I have some ideas, and I'm going to be starting on that. I have another project going, and then I just going through all these beautiful things on my table. I'm just dying to get back to work. I have so many wonderful things, and I just see so many projects in front of me that I want to get done. So hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more projects from me in the coming weeks, and a lot more things I want to show you that I picked up. I've got a ton of stuff. I'm losing track of what I had to show you. So, but I'll be back soon, and I hope you're having a good week. This should be coming out on, well, today's Thursday. I think I'm going to go ahead and release it today. It'll just be late. And tomorrow is Friday, and you will see my Goodwill blue box tomorrow. So thank you so much, and I'll be back soon. Bye.